Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about how to buy luxury while still spending savvy. This is all about value for money luxury. I think there's a common misconception that if you like and buy luxury goods, then you must be bad at money, and in my experience, more often than not, I found the opposite to be true, in that most people I've met that like to buy luxury goods tend to be pretty good at managing their finances, because you almost have to be. To be able to buy these items on a regular basis, you have to be pretty good at budgeting and managing your finances, because they are so expensive. So I thought I would do this video. This isn't necessarily going to be about budgeting or saving, but rather maximizing your money, making sure you get enough bang for your buck, and making sure that your money goes as far as possible. My grandma always used to say that if you look after the pennies, the pounds will look after themselves, and I think that is such a good money philosophy. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and let's get going. This video is in partnership with ShopTagger. I've worked with ShopTagger twice now before, and I absolutely love them. I know so many of you guys do as well. If you're new to my channel, or if you just didn't catch those videos, then ShopTagger is basically an online tool that allows you to track individual items and get notified when they go on sale. If you like sale shopping and you like a discount like I do, then this is a revelation. It is so useful and has completely changed the way I sell shop and internet shop in general. I know so many of you use this already, so I'm going to do the briefest of tutorials just to give you a very quick overview. So I'm just on the Nordstrom website right here, and I'm going to select something to add to my ShopTagger. So I'm going to go for this dress, and there are actually two ways to add it. So once you install the button, you can use the shortcut version here and just click it, and it's as easy as that. The item is already saved. For a few more options, I can also use this button right here, and then I can select exactly what size I want to be notified about. And I can choose if I want any price change or the exact percentage. And if I want, I can also add it to a list, but that's entirely optional. And then I click save. And then when I go back to my ShopTagger, the items will appear. This also works really well for back in stock items as well. So I'm on the Louis Vuitton website, and of course the Pochette Métis is out of stock as always. So what I can do is I can just select to be notified when it's back in stock. Add it to a list, save and show, and then the item will be saved. And then it will go ahead and appear, and then I'll get the notification as soon as it comes back in stock via text message, email, whatever you've signed up to. And you can also use the iPhone app as well to be notified on the go. So whichever way you like to be communicated with, there'll be an option where you can get notified straight away. So as you can see, it is super simple to use, and it's honestly the most useful thing. I use it all the time and I absolutely love it. It's also completely free as well, so there is no cost associated with using it at all. I use it a lot obviously for tracking when items go on sale. I've actually been able to shop sales before anyone else by using it. So before the sale has been put onto the homepage or an email has been sent out to the database, I've gotten an alert saying an item I was watching went on sale. And I was able to shop the sale before anyone else, which meant I got my pick of the sizes, which is obviously great. It's also really good for back in stock alerts as well. So when you have something like the Nordstrom anniversary sale, when items are going in and out of stock really quickly, instead of having to revisit the site time and time again, you can just save the item to your ShopTagger and instantly get alerted when your size comes back in stock. And this also works for websites like Louis Vuitton. I've used it to get notified when very kind of in-demand items are out of stock, and then you can save it and it will tell you instantly when it comes back in stock. Especially when it's something like the Pochette Métis, which I know so many people want to get their hands on. It will tell you before anyone else that you can just kind of swoop in there. So would highly recommend. As I mentioned, it's totally free to use, so if you are interested in checking it out, then I will leave the link down below. So my first tip is to buy smart. Wardrobe investment pieces are called investments for a reason, and even though they're not replacing actual financial investments like stocks and shares or property, I still think they are a worthwhile thing to spend your money on. And I'm not just talking about bags here either. I think the investment buying philosophy can apply to so many things in your wardrobe. Not necessarily everything, but certainly some key items. So for example, for me personally, I would always rather spend a bit more on a very beautiful classic coat that I'll be able to wear for many years to come, rather than just buying a new lesser quality coat every year and having to replace it every year. I just think it makes good sense. You'll be able to enjoy beautiful quality, very classic things, and it'll also make dressing easier as well. Which brings me to my second point, which is it's very good to know what to splurge on, but it's equally, if not more important, to know what to save on as well. Unless you're a billionaire with an unlimited budget, everyone has to prioritize what they spend their money on, and for me it makes sense to prioritize certain areas of my wardrobe over others. So for example, I would always much rather save on tops and blouses versus coats, because with a top or a blouse, the fit and the cut really doesn't matter as much, nor does the fabric. Whereas a coat, you can really tell the difference between a badly tailored coat, I think, and a well-tailored coat. So for me, it's a no-brainer to save on tops and blouses. It's also a really easy way to update your wardrobe as well. So if you go for cheaper tops, it's a quick and easy way to give your wardrobe a refresh while still relying on your classic pieces like a really good quality coat. This also does apply to other items where the fit maybe does matter more, but you can still find good quality versions on the high street. Here I'm thinking of things like blazers, where even though the fit and the cut of a blazer is really important, you still can find really good examples on the high street, and the vast majority of my blazers are from the high street, and I think they fit great. If they don't fit exactly how you want, it may be worthwhile also getting them tailored to make them look a little bit more expensive. So that's absolutely something I recommend doing. It's also true that you can do this with accessories, and even though I obviously like to spend a lot of money on my accessories, this isn't true of every single accessory type. I have a clutch here which I've had for the best part of 10 years now. I've had it a very long time and I absolutely love it, and I still reach for it constantly. I have another clutch as well from Topshop, which is an all black leather one, which I also use a ton. These two are the biggest reason why I haven't spent money on a really fancy darker leather clutch, because I just think that the needs are fulfilled already with the two that I have. I love the fact that these are carefree. I can take them to a party and not worry about them. They are fuss free, they're very subtle. And for me, this is just a very solid buy. I don't feel the need to get a more expensive version. I'm just very happy with what I have, and this one cost £10 and my Topshop one cost £20, I think. So it's definitely not necessary to spend money on everything in your wardrobe. You can find cheaper versions that will serve you and last you very well as well. My third tip is to focus on items that you're going to wear a lot to splurge on. I think there is the tendency to save up for an item and splurge on a special occasion piece that you're going to be able to bring out during those special moments, and I used to really be behind the idea, but the more I've shopped and been surrounded by luxury goods, the more I think it actually makes so much more sense to buy everyday luxury items. And these aren't necessarily kind of cheaper things, just items that you're going to be able to use and enjoy every day. So for example, here I'm thinking of items I own, like my Neverfull. Anyone that watches this channel will know how much I love my Neverfulls, but I think this is the perfect example of an everyday luxury item. It's definitely not a cheap item, it's still definitely luxury, but this is something I can use and enjoy every single day. I don't worry about it, it's not something that I'll only save for special occasions, and because of that, the cost per wear is amazing. I do think it's really good value for money, and I've just gotten so much enjoyment out of it. This is also true for smaller items as well. So here I have my Louis Vuitton key holder. I love this thing. I've used it every single day since I got it, and it definitely wasn't cheap. I think it was £160, but again, cost per wear is amazing because I use it all the time. I love it, it's very functional, it looks cute, and I just really appreciate it for what it is, and I'm able to appreciate it more because I use it that much more as well. This also goes for shoes, and I never used to do this, and it's actually only something that I started doing recently. I used to spend a lot, and I still do actually, I spend a lot of money on high heels, but I used to exclusively spend money on high heels. So even though I wore flats much more often than I wore heels, I would never spend any money on flats. I'd go for very cheap flats and save my money for designer heels. I've only recently started spending money on designer flats, and for me this has kind of completely changed my opinion on what type of shoes I should save and splurge on. I bought these Nicholas Kirkwood flats I think a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I've gotten so much use out of them and I love them so much. You can see from the soles how much I use them. They're honestly possibly my favourite pair of shoes at the moment in terms of designer shoes, and if I compare the cost per wear to my Christian Louboutin heels for example, there really is no comparison. You know, these were cheaper, I've used them so much more, and I love them that much more because of it. So when looking at designer items, I do think it's important to consider cost per wear, how much you're going to use it, and how much functionality there is in the item as well. My fourth tip is to buy durable items. It sounds kind of silly when talking about very expensive luxury goods, but I do think durability is so incredibly important, especially if you want to make sure you are making a good value for money luxury purchase. You really need to consider wear and tear and durability, and obviously this is going to depend somewhat on how you treat it and care for it, but at the same time there are definitely some luxury goods which are going to be more durable than others. I get asked all the time what I'd recommend as a first Chanel bag purchase, and my answer is always the same, and that is to avoid spending money on lambskin if it's your first Chanel bag. I have my lambskin mini here, which I absolutely love to bits, but even with all the other bags in my collection, I'm still very concerned about the leather, and I just don't reach for it as much as I would because I'm very conscious of the wear and tear. Anytime there is even a chance of slightly bad weather, I'm not going to be taking this out. If I know it's going to be a kind of rough and tumble kind of day, I avoid using this. I just don't reach for this as a carefree bag. I compare this with something like my Chanel Jumbo. It's my go-to example, but I've had this for 6 or 7 years, I think, and it's just done amazingly well, and I can use this even if it's raining. I don't worry about it, and the durability is just amazing. Similarly, if you're only going to make, one big luxury purchase that year, I'd say stay away from things like shoes. I mentioned it before, but shoes see a lot of wear and tear, and you're much better off buying something like a bag where you can protect it and look after it a bit more. It's also very much a case of the more hardy an item is, the more you're going to reach for it and the more you're going to enjoy it and use it. Certainly my most used bags in my collection are all very durable, carefree and worry-free bags because I can just reach for them, I can grab and go, and I don't have to worry about it. My least used bags in my collection are often the ones which are a bit more delicate and ones I have to worry about and be concerned with. So it is definitely worthwhile considering durability when making a very big purchase. My fifth tip is to save the trends for the high street. Everyone interprets trends differently and what they consider to be a trend, but whatever you consider a trend to be, I would always say that is an area to save on, and save the splurging for more classic pieces which you're going to be able to enjoy for more than just a couple of seasons. I alluded to this earlier with my tops point, but tops are a really great way of updating your wardrobe, indulging in trends and not worrying about if they're going to last 5 or 10 years. With something like a very expensive bag, I definitely think it's worth considering how long you're going to be able to wear it, how long it's going to be in fashion, and if you're still going to like it in a few years' time. These are very big purchases, and for me that's exactly what the high street is made for. It's fun, it's cheap and cheerful, you can indulge in trends and have fun with fashion while still building and investing in a very classic wardrobe. Obviously trendy bags are a bit of a contentious topic. I always get asked about this as well, and I have my Gucci Marmont bags there, which I always think of when discussing trendy bags at the moment because they are so super popular and people always ask if I think they're going to be a classic, if it's a passing trend. For me, I still absolutely categorize the Gucci Marmont bags as a trend, but I'm also so happy to spend the money on them. One, because they're not on the same price point as a Chanel bag, for example, but also I evaluated how much use and how much I'd enjoy them, and I thought it was worthwhile spending the money. They are definitely still very expensive bags, but I've gotten so much use out of them because I've worn them so much that for me it's worthwhile. And even if they do go out of fashion in 2 or 3 years' time, I'll be okay with that because I do think I've gotten enough value for money out of them. So always worthwhile considering, but generally speaking my rules tend to be that for trends I go high street, and for more investment pieces I try to go more classic. My sixth tip is to shop smart and try and get a discount if you can. Sounds like a no-brainer, but in this day and age of insanely competitive online shopping where there are so many online stores and so many places to shop from, it really doesn't make sense to be paying full price. You can usually get a discount on most things if you're willing to wait it out and shop around. This is obviously with the exception of some mega brands like, Louis Vuitton and Chanel, but on most brands, even the very luxury ones like Saint Laurent or Valentino, you should be able to get a discount on most things. The vast majority of stores out there will do a welcome code or a discount code, end of season sale, sometimes mid-season sale as well, flash sales, rewards programs. There is always a way to save, and my biggest tip for this is to make sure that you are signed up to newsletters. People always ask me how I know about sales, and I'm literally just signed up to every single newsletter of every store I shop at. So whenever there is a flash sale or a discount code, I get the notification right away and I'm on it checking to see if there is an item on my wish list that I can get at a discount. Obviously Shop Target is great for this as well, for those actual discounted items. You can get the notification straight away and check out before anyone else does. So that is definitely a good tip. You know, I very rarely pay full price for anything anymore, just because I know that if I do wait it out and I am patient, I will usually be able to score it at a discount. Buying pre-loved is another way of saving money, and it is a great one if you are patient. I know several of my bags in my collection, which are my absolute favourites, I got on the pre-loved market. I got them for a great price and they were in perfect condition. I got my Celine Nano, I got my pink little Chanel bag that's right there, I got my Chanel Square Mini. So many good buys. If you are patient and willing to hunt around, you can get amazing deals. And my seventh and final tip is to make sure you spend that little bit extra, whether that's time or money, in maintaining your items. I'm always so confused whenever I see a luxury bag or anything really pricey looking really mistreated, because for me, when I'm spending that much money on something, I want to make sure it's looking as good as possible for as long as possible. And obviously sometimes accidents can happen, but even investing in some cleaning products or getting some spray to protect against colour transfer, all these things will really help to prolong the life of your item and will prolong how long you'll be able to use and enjoy it. If you want to go that step further and you have a Louis Vuitton bag, for example, you can even take it to the store and get the vachetta replaced. Obviously this costs quite a bit more, but you'll get pretty much a brand new bag at a fraction of the overall cost. It's definitely worth spending the time and effort to maintain your items, because it really does lead to spending savvy. You know, you won't need to replace them and you'll be able to spend that money on something else, whether it's something else in your life, an extra addition to your wardrobe. But looking after your items, especially ones that are more on the pricey side, you should be able to enjoy them for many years and possibly even decades to come. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions for me or any general thoughts or comments about this topic, then leave them down below. And as I mentioned, I will leave all details for Shop Target in the description section, where you can sign up for free. I definitely recommend giving it a try. It is an amazing tool. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.